Hey, Zach here from Frontenac Outfitters Canoe and Kayak Center. Today we're going to have a look at some of the components that you're going to find on a kayak. In our demonstration, we're going to be using a Ziegel Sea kayak, but a lot of this information will cross over into a recreational kayak, a whitewater kayak, day touring. All the terms are going to be really similar. You may find this kayak has more features than what you might find in, say, a recreational kayak. But for all intents and purposes, most of the information is going to translate all through the different styles of kayaks. So let's start at the bow or the front of the kayak, and we'll move our way back and we'll kind of talk about each component separately. At the bow of the kayak, we're going to find a toggle. A lot of people are going to think this is a dedicated carry handle. Not my preferred way to carry a boat, especially these long expedition boats. If this is a heavily laden kayak, this little string here, not going to be the greatest thing to rely on to carry the boat. What this is an in-water swim toggle. So if we are in a capsized situation, we're out of our kayak, we can move to the front of the boat, grab a hold of this so that we can kind of swim it around. It has some bungee and some flex here, so it'll keep, kind of drifting in and out with the kayak. Moving a little further back, we have our front deck here. We've got dedicated deck lines, okay, and these are a static line. They don't stretch. It is a stiff cord, and these again are going to be used in rescue or holding situations where you need to hang on to that kayak and not use the bungees. Obviously, bungees are going to flex and stretch, not making ideal for rescues and that type of thing. These are the bungees that we're talking about. In the center on the deck, all the way from the bow to the front, we'll have different configurations of bungees and how they work. This one here, this little ball is going to be so I can tuck my paddle in underneath really quickly. Again, if I need to access it for a rescue, I can tuck my paddle in here nice and securely. That little ball there just makes it really easy to scoop my paddle underneath of it without kind of filling around. Not a feature you're going to find on all kayaks or sea kayaks for that matter, but this has a recessed deck mount or a deck compass mount so that we can put in, your Silva recessed deck compass on here. I don't have one installed on this kayak, but it's a pretty common feature you'll find on a lot of sea kayaks. If it doesn't have that recessed mount, you can get a strap-on compass to do the same thing, just not have to worry about that recessed deck mount. Hatches. These are easy ways to access the interior of the kayak. We can store gear in here. The most important thing that they add though is flotation to the boat. And the reason they do this is if we have a look inside, we've got what we call a bulkhead. So there'll be a bulkhead here and one behind the seat. Again, you're going to find this on most sea kayaks. Generally, recreation kayaks might have one, that might have two. Sometimes they don't have any, but a really, really important safety feature in any sea kayak especially is having a bulkhead in here. Whether you have gear in here or not, it'll help keep it dry, but what it really will do is keep the kayak floating high in the water in the event of a capsize. The cockpit will flood, the hatch compartments will not, keeping that kayak floating nice and high, making it easy to rescue. Sliding a little further back, we've got more bungee here. This is going to be used for stuff that I need to have quick access to on the water. I try not to mount up too much stuff on my deck. I like to keep it fairly clean. I might have a bilge pump and I might have an inflatable paddle float on here. So they're quick at hand. I don't have to go looking through cockpits or stuff like that, especially in a rescue scenario. I really don't want to have to be opening up any hatches on the water. This particular kayak, we've got a small little glove box or day hatch, kind of right here in front of us. Not all kayaks are going to have this, but that's, it is a nice feature to have. Into the cockpit itself. So this area here that we're sitting in is going to be called the cockpit. We have a coaming around the outside that our spray skirt's going to attach to. We have our seat, and seats are going to be all, slightly different. We've got a back band, and this is going to be another thing that we're going to see in sea kayaks and whitewater kayaks for the most part. More recreational kayaks will have a higher back rest, but I think really important in sea kayaks or anything that you're going to venture maybe offshore is having a proper back band, as it makes getting in and out of the kayak so much easier, especially in rescue scenarios. It doesn't offer that back support like a back rest will, but if you ever practice rescues with one with a high back rest, you'll know the value of having a good back band in there. Inside here, we've got our adjustable foot pegs. And again, every kayak's gonna be slightly different, but you should have some type of foot system in there that you can brace your feet against so that you can get the most stability out of your kayak. Thigh braces. My legs are gonna connect with these, and these little hook shapes here are gonna kind of curve in over my thighs to give me, again, most control out of my kayak. I want my kayak to fit fairly snug in the hips. I want the feet to be in there. I want to make contact ideally with my knees and my thighs in here. And so a good fitting boat will do that. On the side here, this is a skeg boat. So I've got my skeg control. If you have a rudder, generally your rudder control is going to be somewhere within hand's reach on the side of the boat. There's advantages and disadvantages to both skegs and rudders. You can check out our other video of skeg versus rudder on the link below. So just behind the seat, again, we've got that other bulkhead. We've already discussed the importance of them. A lot of sea kayaks, if it has this extra day hatch here, and this is another nice little feature, has another bulkhead in here. So this boat actually has 3 bulkheads in it. Really convenient having this space behind the seat. Not all sea kayaks have it, not a big deal, but really convenient for having, you know, things that are close at hand on the water, lunch, rescue supplies, emergency supplies, that type of thing, because I don't have to get out of my boat to access this compartment. Again, more bungees and perimeter lines or deck lines all the way going from the cockpit all the way to the back of the kayak. I've got my last stern compartment here. And again, because this is a skeg kayak, it has a skeg box in here with a cable that connects to my skeg control there. So keeping in mind, when I'm packing this kayak, I have to be mindful of that skeg box and packing around it and making sure I don't, you know, dislodge that cable or cause any damage to it. Coming all the way to the back here is our stern. So this is the stern of the kayak, is the back of the kayak. And lastly, we have our toggle on the back. Again, swim toggle. So if I'm, you know, more convenient for me to grab this to start swimming it back to shore to a friend's boat, I will make use of that to get myself out of trouble. All right, so now we're looking at the hull of the kayak, which is the bottom side. That's the side that's going to be engaged. We're going to call that the hull. A few features that we're going to see. In this instance, I have a skeg on this boat. So this is the skeg chamber or the skeg box in here. So my skeg is actually recessed up in here, but we'll deploy it so you can see what it looks like. This is our skeg blade here, and this is going to give us tracking over, you know, the control of the kayak. If we find that we're turning a lot in the current or in the wind, we can drop our skeg into the water to help stop that deviation and paddling straight. The biggest things to consider when you're looking at a kayak and parts of a kayak is it going to fit you well and the style of paddling you're going to do. We're happy to help you with that decision. If you want to try any kayaks, feel free to come visit us here at the shop. We do on-water test paddling in season 7 days a week. Thanks a lot for watching.